Hi! I wanted to pop up and start this reading vlog. I haven't done reading vlogs for a long time, but this is like introduction. So I want to read and vlog my experience with this book. This is Marple, but not by Agatha Christie, by 12 new authors that read Marple mysteries, especially for this book. So I don't know a lot of them. Here is Lee Bardugo, Lucy Foley, Ruth Ware, Ellie Griffiths, Kate Moss. I don't know others. My idea is this: I will read 1-2 mysteries in a day, and will vlog my experience reading. We'll talk about them, but I hope I will do it without spoilers, talking about all these short stories and what I think about them. And yeah, I'll hope to take you with me on this journey. So yeah, hope you like it. Let's go. So today I want to start with first 3 short stories from this book. Overall, my experience was very pleasant. Now I am in the half of this book. I read 6 short stories. It was wonderful. I liked it very much. I think I'll tell you about a few of the short stories and then maybe make a conclusion, because I don't want to start with the conclusion. So I will, about each short story, I am interested in 3 things. First, do I like it or not? Was it a good mystery or not? Second, was it close to Agatha Christie's Miss Marple? How this author embodied Miss Marple? Was it close to Agatha Christie? Was it not? Do I think the spirit of the series is here or not? And third is, what author brought new to this short story, to this experience? Is it valuable? Is it like, can I tell what is new and what is not? Can I feel the new author in this novel or not? Sometimes it's not, like, my enjoyment was high, even though I didn't realize that this is like what this author brought to this story. Maybe even my favorite stories in here are ones that are very close to Agatha Christie's style of writing. But it's understandable. Agatha Christie is one of my favorite authors, so it's okay if author haven't brought anything from himself or herself. Let's start from the beginning. And what I want to say, for now, I read short stories. The first one was my least favorite. This is Evil in Small Places, written by Lucy Foley. Lucy Foley is now best-selling mystery thriller author who lives in England, and I've read 3 books by her, and I did not enjoy any of them. I gave them from 2 to 3 stars. I'm sorry to say that, but that's true. It's not the author for me. What about this short story? In this short story, Miss Marple came to visit her boarding school friend Prudence. They gossiped a little bit, and then they need to go to the singing rehearsal. The strange things begin to happen on their way to this house where there will be this rehearsal. Found themselves among the young people on the carnival who were like brutal and dangerous, and then they went to the wood in the night. And I was just like, Miss Marple would never ever went into the woods at the night with a torch. Like, I just can't even imagine this. So here, author lost me. Murder mystery was okay, I think. I did not think it was good. I thought that it was too violent for me, and just not for me. Again, if I would pick this book in the bookshop and read only the first story, I would never buy it, like, at all. It's not for me. So let's give it like 2 stars of my enjoyment, 2 stars for Agatha Christie resemblance, and let's say 4 stars for bringing something, because again, this read more like a horror story, and it didn't have this usual Lucy Foley huge cast of characters doing something together with with the past. I would not guess that this work is Lucy Foley. I would think something more like, I don't know, Stephen King, something like that, because it was mysteriously horrorish. And there was almost nothing from Agatha Christie novels in here. Let's talk about second one. Second one was interesting, and I like it actually a lot. It was called The Second Murder in Vicarage, and was written by Val McDermid. I have never read Val McDermid, but now I know that I googled, and I know that she is actually a well-known best-selling author of crime novels. She won a Gold Dagger, and she is living in England and Edinburgh, like traveling from one place to another. I really enjoyed this short story. So yeah, this is like telling from the point of view of Vicar, who came home and found lots of blood in his kitchen and his maid murdered, and he is very upset because this is the second murder in this house, and he just like, oh no, what's a bother again. The spirit of Agatha Christie is definitely here, because this is the part where people are not that scared of the body in their kitchen, but very scared about visit by their neighbors and what they would tell and how it will like be gossiping around. And the characters are close to Agatha Christie. Actually, characters, most of them are the same from the Murder at the Vicarage. So again, it was nice to meet all these people, and yeah, it was interesting, and I liked it actually. Let's say gave it 4.5 stars maybe. It was very close to Agatha Christie. I would say again like 4.5, 5 stars for resemblance to Agatha Christie. And let's do, I don't know, maybe 3 for bringing something new. I've never read Val McDermid. Actually, now I'm interested in her work because I liked the language very much. But I can't say, was it what new did she brought? Like, if it is violence, because it was a little bit more violent than it was in Agatha Christie works, a little bit more blood, I don't know, but still I enjoyed it very much, highly recommend. The third short story maybe was not my favorite from these 3, but is interesting to talk about. So it's named Miss Marple Takes Manhattan by Alyssa Cole. Alyssa Cole is the author of mostly romance, but she wrote When No One Is Watching, which is a thriller in Brooklyn, taking place in Brooklyn. She wrote this book in 2020. I haven't read it. That's interesting that this book in a whole brought you new experience with Miss Marple because of this huge cast of authors who can bring Miss Marple in different places and different situations, which were not in the competence of Agatha Christie because of her time, because of her nationality, you know. So here Miss Marple, as you can understand from the name, comes to New York with her nephew for the new play in Broadway from his novel. And in the first pages, she wanted to go to the mall because she knew a lot. She heard a lot about New York stores and malls, and she wanted to experience this, not only museums. But she is really afraid to cross the street, and she is standing there watching people, watching cars, and she is afraid to cross the street. I do think that this scene is absolutely brilliant. It's well done, and there are a lot of thoughts in here. Miss Marple thinks about how the world is changing, and it's actually very well done. And because I think of Murder in the Caribbean or something else, like we, Nemesis, we feel this Miss Marple can be in these different exotic for her places, not only in St. Mary Mead. And we know a little bit how she does she enjoy something new or not. We know this a little bit about her. So it's interesting to see her placed in like strange places. So yeah, I do think that this one short story is really good. First, it takes place on the streets of New York and then in the mall. And there is also a fun discussion about like America is very similar to England, but a little bit bigger and noisier. But you know, she wanted to buy some cups and plates. They're not that different from what you can find in England, maybe a little bit worse, and definitely they're not worth the sending price. It was all Hotel Bertram like thoughts, and I liked it. And then they went to West Broadway actually, and they found themselves in this very small theater, and they met this very self-sufficient, bold, black woman director, and it was a great character, and it like we are not used to this type of characters in Agatha Christie's works, but here it looks absolutely amazing. It blends in. You feel like this is much more diverse than we used to have, and it looks wonderful, like it always was there. I do think that author Alyssa Cole did a great job, because she brought a lot of new things, but you actually believe that it can be a story about Miss Marple. Like it was done good. It was done beautifully. And yeah, so let's say of my enjoyment, because I did not actually enjoy the mystery that much, but the ambience and the place a lot. 4 for resemblance to Agatha Christie, and 5 for bringing something new, because yeah, this is brilliant. Let's make a stop of me talking about these stories, and here is the footage for you of me and my family went to Botanical Gardens in San Francisco to watch the blooming of magnolias and camellias actually. They are beautiful. This is the time of the year when we always go to Botanical Gardens, because magnolias are blooming in late February, early March. And yeah, we just like it. Beautiful place, beautiful trees, and a great walk. And we all enjoyed it very much. Hopefully you will enjoy it too. Okay, we are back. The fourth short story, called The Unraveling, and was written by Natalie Haynes, who actually wrote Greek myth retellings mostly. So she is like an expert in Greek mythology. This story takes place in St. Mary Mead, when one haberdasher shop is closed because something happened. There was a quarrel the day before, and it was in the middle of the town, so everyone saw it. And then the man, a beggar or like a worker from the farm, who came to this haberdasher's shop and the fight began, he was found dead, but not because of the fight, but because of the arrow in his back. The story is actually, this is interesting short story. I can't say that I liked it. Like, let's say I gave it 3 stars for my enjoyment, but I gave it 4 stars for resembling Agatha Christie, because the spirit of St. Mary Mead is done beautifully. It's really well done. All talks between neighbors and helpings in the church, gatherings and all the stuff is done with some knowledge, with some enjoyment and fun. You can feel that author liked to write this thing, and you can feel this enjoyment. And actually the spirit of St. Mary Mead, I do think was great. Like, that was done beautifully. The mystery itself, I mean, you can't find the Greek mythology topics in here, but the mystery itself was close to Greek tragedies. It takes place in the past. You can see some Odyssey resemblance, and there is also a Greek play that school teacher is doing with his students right now. There are a lot of these small hints from ancient Greek literature here and there, and the whole feel of the book, not of the book, the whole feel of the story is close to Agatha Christie feel, but the whole feel of the mystery, if you think about it, when you know what was the truth, it like has the spirit of ancient Greek stories. So I actually think it was again done brilliantly. I did not enjoy it while reading it, but now it's nice to remember it and to think about it. So again, great one. The next one was my absolute favorite. It was called Miss Marple's Christmas. It was written by Ruth Ware. Ruth Ware is best-selling mystery thriller author. I've read only The It Girl, but also I know she did like these retellings of classic mysteries. The Turn of the Key was a retelling of The Turn of the Screw. And also One by One was a retelling for And Then There Were None by Agatha Christie. So Ruth Ware is definitely known for these things of redoing stuff. You can say that she is a fan of Golden Age mysteries, and you can feel it in every page. Like here there is plumbing problems in the house of Miss Marple's nephew, and so he and his wife came to Miss Marple to enjoy Christmas with her, and they were invited to Christmas dinner to another house, and there was another guest in this house. So this house full of guests, and the pearls were stolen. And then Miss Marple, of course, will help to solve this thing. I really thought that it was done great. Also, there is something from the novel by Dorothy Sayers in here, and it was done beautifully, brilliantly. I really like this short story. Like, the whole book is worth it, even for this one story. This is like a closed circle mystery. They are snowed in this house, and this this is just brilliant. Like, I really liked it. It 5 stars everywhere. And also Ruth Ware brought something from her, I think, this knowledge of other Golden Age stories. It was so good. And also there is this not fighting scene, of course, but when Miss Marple confronted the bad people, it was a little bit more suspense than usual we have in Agatha Christie, but it was very well done. And I really think this is like a brilliant story. Highly recommend. The next short story is called The Open Mind, and it's by Naomi Alderman, who is, I understand, a young author. She wrote 2, I think, only novels. Her father is an academic who has specialized in Anglo-Jewish history, and he wrote a novel, Disobedience, which is a novel about a rabbi's daughter from North London who became a lesbian, and so on. Why I'm telling you this? Because this is actually a dark academia story where after one of missed Agatha Christie mysteries, and now I am very ashamed, but I don't know which one of them, Sir Aaron Kahn, he is a retired judge and he is an honorary fellow at the college. He invited Miss Marple to this yearly big event, like a big dinner at this college, to celebrate what they together won a mystery. I don't remember this guy, so I can't tell you from what mystery he was. There at this dinner, some strange things were happening about women harassment, especially in colleges and in education profiles, and there are a lot of about drugs in here. And at the end, there is something about academic research. I actually I am not the fan of any of these topics, and I did not think, I never thought that it was like well done in case of resembling Agatha Christie. But in the whole, I may say that it was rather enjoyable. It was different from everything I've read. It was Miss Marple again in very different surroundings. She is not an academic person. We never saw her, talking about science or about ancient history, about anything like that. She presents herself usually as a low-mind woman who just lives small life in the small village, know nothing. And it's interesting to see how she behave herself in these grand scientific surroundings. Also, it is a fun point of view. Miss Marple is a fun point of view about Me Too movement and about young people, young women doing stuff that they never done in Miss Marple youth, and putting themselves in the situation that were unbelievable in Miss Marple youth, and how it is different now, and all this stuff. It was a unique point of view on the movement, and I enjoyed it. So of course it's not about Me Too movement, but about harassing women in science, and when older and men with more power use women for their pleasure, something like that. So let's say for the whole enjoyment, 3.5. For the resemblance of Agatha Christie, 3. Because these thoughts about how it was in my times actually were close to what Miss Marple can think, but I don't know. About bringing something new, 5. Like, there is a lot of new things. Actually, I like this experience. So these are 6 first short stories, and I think I'll return to you in a few days talking about 6 more.
Okay, hi. I've read another three short stories in my book, and I want to tell you about this. This is a very rainy day in California, unusually rainy, I think, for this time of year, and I'm waiting for my daughter to pick her up from preschool. Yeah, the first story is The Jade Empress by Jean Kwok. She's Chinese American author, and she wrote few books like mysteries, family dramas about Chinese immigrants in USA. It was actually very exciting to have this voice in this book because it was really different. In this short story, Miss Marple is on the cruise sailing to Hong Kong to meet her nephew there, and she likes cruise, and it's, you know, there are some dancing and they're doing stuff, and she met an old Chinese man and his family. Well, not family, his daughter, and also his like caregiver, nurse, which used Chinese medicine, and then he was killed and his daughter was accused. And not only his daughter, but his caretaker of poisoning, and then his daughter. There are also family secrets, family drama of long lost son, and all the things. It was interesting because it put Miss Marple in very different environment, and very different, not maybe environment, but group of people. And Miss Marple like thrives in there. I do think that is a character that really is very modern, can be very modern. This mystery was interesting, maybe a little bit too exotic, in not in sense that it was, I mean, it was clearly written for Americans. It could be written, you know, by a person who know nothing about Chinese culture, because it was too touristy. Let me tell that. Also, there is a snippets of Miss Marple in Hong Kong doing Tai Chi, and that was too much for me. I'll give it, like, for my enjoyment, I'll give it maybe 3 stars. For resemblance in Agatha Christie, actually it was interestingly close for a few of her novels. There are definitely nods to a few of them, and I'll give it 4 stars. I don't want to spoil, because if I will mention these novels, it will be a spoiler. So let's give 4. And of bringing its own voice, it's actually 5. It's exciting to have this different appearances of Miss Marple in different environment, different people around her. It was actually very fresh. I can't say I really liked it. I mean, I like Miss Marple more in Saint Mermaid, but it was nice to have this. So yeah. Next short story is A Deadly Wedding Day by Dreda Say Mitchell. She is British author with Caribbean heritage. And in this short story, there is a companion to Miss Marple, another old lady from the Caribbean. I'm trying to find her name, Miss Bella. I don't know. It was nice to have like a companion old woman, entirely different, with different background. But I do think that in this novel, in this short story, Miss Marple was an accessory, and like almost she wasn't there. Her personality didn't shine. We can't feel her. Miss Bella definitely is the main protagonist, or like, I don't know. It was a little bit strange for me because it was like she had this short story, and then she wrote it in and then she wrote in Miss Marple to include it in this anthology. So don't know. Let's say I gave it maybe 2 stars, and for resemblance with Agatha Christie, also 2 stars, and for bringing something new, maybe 4 stars. It was just not my favorite, but it's not because it was badly written. It just wasn't about Miss Marple. actually I really want to read more from this author because I liked the style of writing, and yeah, it was actually well done in case of language and other stuff, but definitely not Miss Marple. The last I want to talk about is Murder at the Villa Rosa by Ellie Griffiths, and it was so exciting. I gave it 5 stars. I loved it. I don't want to spoil it. So here, author who is very tired of his main protagonist in mystery novels is heading to Italy to resort to write a novel in which he wants to kill his protagonist. And then there is Miss Marple and other people with their secrets, but the grand reveal in the end is that it is all very meta, and it is like more not a mystery about Miss Marple but more about Agatha Christie. And I think like Ellie Griffiths like makes a parallel with Agatha Christie herself, like she parallels herself with Agatha Christie, and it's very interesting. It's completely different from all other short stories in this book, and it was a very pleasant, very freshly present surprise in here. And Miss Marple also looked well in this place, and I just again loved it. So yeah, 5 stars to this. With the resemblance to Agatha Christie, actually 5 stars, because while I was reading it, I was just like, wow, it's like all the short stories about Miss Marple combining in one, and then it makes something entirely different, and I just adored this. Ellie Griffiths was in my TBR list, and now it's like way higher. That's why I like these anthologies. You became interested, and you have snippets of authors that you may read in the future. I love it. I mean, like, it's my second favorite short story in this book. So yeah, now to give you a little bit break, I'll show you our, like a week ago, my family and I went to see the tide pools. So then when the tide, like sometimes some time of year, usually it's winter, we have these king tides in Pacific Ocean. That means that the tides can be very high and very low. And when it is very low, like the rocks became bare, and you can see sea life in these small puddles near the rock. So it's called tide pools. We saw starfish and sea urchins and mussels and different things. Kids were very excited, and it was just a very nice day. You can't believe the weather right now. It's cold and rainy, and it was like beautifully springish day. So yeah, here are like a little bit of footage of our walk there, and then I'll be back with the last 3 short stories. last 3 short stories, and first of them is The Merging Sword by Karen McManus. I didn't like this one. Karen McManus is young adult thriller author, and you can tell this. You can't feel that she read Agatha Christie like ever, but she definitely watched Knives Out. So in here you read from the point of view of Miss Marple grand niece. So she's her nephew grand niece, something like that, and she came to visit Miss Marple. Miss Marple is very old, and it's more about this young girl and her friends, and strange situations she put herself in this grand manor in Saint Marmite. So I have a lot of thoughts about the future of mystery thrillers, and I don't like this future, and this is like the example of it. So this girl, she do stuff that people do in the worst horror thrillers. She goes to some creepy places alone. She tells no one where she's going. She hides behind chairs in strange rooms and all the stuff. And I don't appreciate it. So I would say 2 for my enjoyment, 1 for like Agatha Christie understanding, and 4 for herself. Again, I don't know, I haven't read this author, and I think that she took more from Knives Out than from her own novels, but I can't say for sure, so I just didn't like that. But the next one I really liked, Kate Moss and the Mystery of the Exit Soil. There are a few things in this that I liked. I liked the character of Miss Marple here. She was up to point, I think, very close to Agatha Christie. I liked the mystery, and I liked a good balance between a mystery and adventure. I think it was just purely good, and also in this and next Miss Marple, in this and next short stories, we have this nod to Miss Marple garden abilities and her understanding of nature, and I think it's really good, and it was underappreciated in Agatha Christie novels. So I liked it here. For this, The Mystery of Exit Soil, I think I give it 5 stars, and it was like 4 of Agatha Christie and maybe 3 bringing something from herself. I really like this one. And the last one was from Leigh Bardugo. Leigh Bardugo is a novelist who is like fantasy writer, so I didn't know what to expect. The name of it is The Disappearance, and it's a note for the body in the library, and I actually liked it very much. I can give it 4.5 stars. It differs from what we can expect from Agatha Christie, but it's like a new take, and I liked that Leigh Bardugo brought modern topics like Me Too movement, like bad men doing bad things to young women, and like women stays together and help each other. But it was actually well written inside the Miss Marple story, and I like Miss Marple character in here, and her friend Dolly, I think her name is. It's the same from The Body in the Library. I really liked it. I thought it was good, and it was again something different. Let's say it was 5 from me. It was like 3 from Agatha Christie and maybe 4 from the author, and I think it was good. my overall impressions. I really like this book. Like, I think I give it 4.5, 5 stars. I can't say that I liked all of these short stories, but I like half of them, and other half make me think about how the genre is evolving, what's going on in the genre, how it differs from the golden age, and what the future can, bring with it. I really like this book. It makes me think. It makes me really excited about reading Agatha Christie. I found maybe 2-3 authors in here in whom I am interested in the future. And yeah, my favorite was from Ruth Ware, also from Ellie. I like the most ones from Ruth Ware, from Ellie Griffiths, from Lee Bardugo, and Kate Moss. I think that were my favorites, but I like a lot of them. So yeah, I think I highly recommend this. I hope you like this adventure with me and snippets of my life and of nature around me. And yeah, see you in the next video. Happy March Mystery Madness to you. Bye.